My name is Black, and flying for the first time is a momentous occasion in anyone's life. It marks a transition from the known to the unknown, from the ground to the sky, from the everyday to the extraordinary. My name is Black, and this is the story of my first flight, an experience filled with excitement, fear, wonder, and lifelong memories. Since childhood, I had been fascinated by the idea of flying. I would watch birds soar gracefully in the sky and wonder how it would feel to be up there. Airplanes, for me, were magical machines that could take people across the world in mere hours. Yet despite this fascination, I had never set foot inside one until that day arrived. My first flight was not just a random event, it was part of a carefully planned trip. I was traveling to another country for the first time, and the only way to get there was by plane. The thought of experiencing air travel for the first time was both thrilling and nerve-wracking. I had heard countless stories, some of turbulence and others of breathtaking views from above the clouds. I wondered which experience would be mine. The days leading up to my flight were filled with preparation. I meticulously packed my bags, ensuring I had everything I needed. I checked my passport multiple times, making sure it was safe. My mind was full of questions. What if I got lost at the airport? What if I missed my flight? What if something went wrong? But despite these worries, I was eager to step into this new world. The airport was a bustling hub of activity. People of all nationalities moved about, some rushing, others waiting patiently. The scent of fresh coffee filled the air from the cafes, and the large digital boards displayed flights from all over the world. I checked in my luggage, received my boarding pass, and proceeded to security. The entire process felt like a rite of passage. The airport itself was a world of its own. It was like a small city operating at full speed, with restaurants, lounges, duty-free shops, and endless corridors leading to unknown destinations. Some travelers appeared exhausted, sprawled across chairs as they waited for their flights, while others chatted excitedly with family members. I noticed businessmen in suits working on their laptops, parents holding on to their children, and solo adventurers with backpacks ready to take on the world. The diversity of people fascinated me. Passing through security was one of the most meticulous parts of the journey. The line was long, but it moved steadily. When my turn came, I placed my bags on the conveyor belt and removed my shoes and belt as instructed. Walking through the scanner was nerve-wracking. The beep sounded as I stepped through, and my heart skipped a beat. A security officer signaled for a secondary check. My pulse quickened, but after a quick scan, I was waved through. It was a relief, but the experience had made me more aware of how seriously security is taken in airports. After security, I had time to explore. Airports are designed for long waits, and mine was no exception. I walked around, taking in the sights and sounds. The duty-free shops were filled with travelers browsing through perfumes, chocolates, electronics, and luxury items. I was tempted to buy something, but I reminded myself that I had to stick to my budget. I then made my way to the food court. The choices were endless: fast food, gourmet coffee, sushi, and even traditional meals from different cultures. I opted for a sandwich and coffee, sitting by the window to watch the planes take off. The sight of massive aircraft lifting into the sky with ease was mesmerizing. One of the most intriguing parts of being at the airport was watching people. I saw an elderly couple holding hands, a young child excitedly pointing at the airplanes, and a group of friends taking selfies before their trip. Some people looked exhausted, while others were filled with energy. Each traveler had a story, a destination, a reason for being there. It made me realize how connected yet different we all are. Time passed slowly as I waited at my gate. I checked my boarding pass multiple times, ensuring I hadn't missed anything. The anticipation grew stronger with each passing minute. I took out my phone to capture a few photos of the airport, hoping to preserve these moments forever. As I waited, I struck up a conversation with a fellow traveler. He had been on dozens of flights and assured me that the experience would be incredible. His stories of past travels inspired me and made me even more excited about my upcoming adventure. Finally, the announcement came. It was time to board. I gathered my things and got in line. My heart was racing, but I was ready. As I handed my boarding pass to the staff, I felt a surge of emotions, excitement, nervousness, and pure wonder. I was about to step into the world of air travel, an experience I had dreamed of for years. Walking through the jet bridge felt surreal. I could hear the distant hum of the plane's engines and feel the cool air from inside the cabin. As I took my first step into the aircraft, I knew that this journey was just the beginning of many adventures to come. Airports, often seen as just a point of transit, had left an unforgettable impression on me. It was more than just a place where flights took off and landed. It was a gateway to new experiences, new cultures, and new perspectives. My time at the airport was an adventure in itself, setting the stage for what would become one of the most incredible experiences of my life, my first flight. The moment the plane's wheels touched the ground, I felt a rush of emotions. Looking out the window, I saw a landscape that was completely unfamiliar, yet inviting. The airport's bright lights, the neatly lined runways, and the bustling activity of planes taxiing to their gates. It all felt surreal. After hours in the air, I had finally arrived. As the plane slowly made its way to the terminal, an announcement came on. Welcome to your destination. The local time is 6:30 p.m., and the temperature outside is 15 degrees Celsius. I took a deep breath. A new adventure had officially begun. Stepping off the plane, I felt the cool air hit my face. The atmosphere was different from what I was used to. New scents, new sounds, new languages being spoken around me. I followed the other passengers through the jet bridge, my heart pounding with anticipation. The airport was massive, and the signage was written in both English and the local language. People hurried past me, some carrying suitcases twice their size, others checking their phones, perhaps messaging loved ones about their arrival. I was one of them now, a traveler in a new land, eager to embrace whatever came next. I approached the immigration counter, gripping my passport tightly. The officer took my documents and examined them carefully. "What's the purpose of your visit?" he asked. My voice was steady, but my hands were slightly sweaty as I answered. After a few moments, he stamped my passport and waved me through. Relief washed over me. I was officially in. The baggage claim area was chaotic, with people anxiously waiting for their suitcases to appear on the conveyor belt. I scanned the moving line of luggage, hoping mine wouldn't be lost. After what felt like forever, I finally spotted my bag. Pulling it off the belt, I checked to make sure everything was intact. With my belongings in hand, I was ready to move forward. Now came the real challenge, figuring out how to get from the airport to my final destination. I had several options: a taxi, a train, or a bus. Signs pointed in multiple directions, and I had to make a quick decision. I decided on a taxi, hoping it would be the easiest way to navigate an unfamiliar city. As I walked outside, the night air was crisp, and the city lights twinkled in the distance. A row of taxis lined up at the curb, each driver calling out to potential passengers. I approached one, showed him my hotel's address, and we were on our way. The taxi ride was my first real glimpse of the city. Tall buildings towered over the streets, neon signs flickered, and people walked hurriedly on sidewalks. The roads were busy, filled with cars, buses, and cyclists. Everything was different, yet fascinating. As I looked out the window, I tried to take in every detail: the architecture, the street vendors, the energy of the place. My driver played local music on the radio, adding to the authenticity of my experience. I had officially arrived, and this city was my new home, at least for now. Finally, we arrived at my hotel. I thanked the driver, paid my fare, and stepped into the brightly lit lobby. The receptionist greeted me with a warm smile. "Welcome. Do you have a reservation?" she asked. I nodded and handed over my details. Within minutes, I was given my room key and directed to the elevator. Walking into my room, I dropped my bags and let out a deep breath. This was it, my first night in a foreign country. I lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling, processing everything that had happened in the last few hours. Despite my exhaustion, curiosity got the best of me. I decided to step out and explore the area around my hotel. The streets were lively, even at night. Cafes were filled with people chatting over coffee, street musicians played in corners, and the aroma of food filled the air. I walked past markets selling fresh produce, bakeries with beautifully displayed pastries, and small souvenir shops. The city had a charm that was both modern and traditional, and I knew there was so much to discover. As I wandered, I realized how little I understood of the local language. Simple things like reading street signs or ordering food became small challenges. I decided to use a translation app on my phone, which helped me communicate with shopkeepers and restaurant staff. Despite the language barrier, I found that a smile and polite gestures went a long way. Hunger soon caught up with me, and I found a cozy restaurant nearby. The menu was mostly in the local language, but with the help of pictures and translations, I managed to order a traditional dish. When the food arrived, I took my first bite, and it was amazing. The flavors were new and exciting, a true introduction to the culture. As I finished my meal, I reflected on everything that had happened that day. From stepping off the plane to navigating a new city, every moment had been an adventure. There were challenges, but there were also beautiful surprises. The journey was just beginning. Arriving in a new place is more than just a physical journey. It's an emotional and mental transformation. It's about stepping out of your comfort zone, embracing the unknown, and finding joy in new experiences. As I headed back to my hotel, I knew one thing for certain. This was just the beginning of an unforgettable adventure.